Yo, everybody, Chris Punsalan here, back with another video. So the other day, I interviewed my friend LLusion on stream, and I wanted to post the entire thing here. So hope you guys enjoy. Lots of gems, a few curse words here and there. Hope you can deal with that. And yeah, enjoy the interview. The first thing I wanted to ask is how are the Zoom sessions that you're doing with other artists? Because I know that you've been heavy on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, talk about that a little bit.
I've been doing, so I got, I signed my pub deal like right at towards the end of 2020 with BMG. And one of the biggest things that is about in your publishing deal that they don't really talk about is kind of like, yo, you're going to be doing like a lot of sessions. And at first I was extremely reserved. Like studio life was honestly just like not for me. I'm a big homebody, and in the digital age of the internet and how we literally can make everything from home, I found it kind of pointless sometimes to like do the whole studio thing in LA, and you fucking, you're there till 4 in the morning. You guys are all partying and doing all this. It's just not my scene, right? But I respect everyone who's about that. So when, since COVID was still pretty bad at that point, this was before the vaccine and everything, he's like, well, people are doing Zoom sessions. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And at first I was like, there's no way this is going to work. The audio is going to be shit, right? How is this going to make it work?
So, you're not in the same room. Like you don't get the vibe, right? Everything.
So I do my first session with this singer Upsal. She's killing it. And then she brought her writing partner, Max Frost. And she was in Arizona. He was in Texas. I was here in Orange County, California, right? And we made an absolute Slappy McGee. And oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And so this is ready? I'm gonna use the cringe word, but it's all about the vibe.
Oh okay. My God. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I hate that word, but it's true though. Like the Zoom session is, we're all talking. And so as long as the energy's there, you can pretty much do anything. And for anyone out there with like social anxiety, or like I have really bad like imposter syndrome, I feel like, where I'm doing all these numbers and I signed all these deals and stuff, but at the end of the day, when it's just me and my computer, it freaks me out. Right. I feel like I'm not that great or whatever, but I know every producer feels that at some point. So if you're freaking out and stressing and you don't have someone breathing down your throat, like, oh, I don't like that drum that you put or whatever, right? You can just fucking throw the Zoom on mute,
right?
And be like, yo, I'm
a little bit, do some breathing.
I'm gonna go do my thing for a bit, and then I'll record a bunch of shit that they're not hearing, so that way they're like, I don't like that. It's more like
you could be free within the session.
Yeah, I mean, how many melodies do you create? But you go through like 20 different
iterations of it. Yeah,
sounds, you know what I'm saying? So that anyway, long story short, Zoom sessions are fantastic. I've done maybe like 20 plus since the beginning of this year, and it's been fucking great, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
So you would say that these Zoom sessions are a blessing to you because it like fits you perfectly. It fits what you like. You get to work with other artists, but you don't have to be in the room necessarily. And you get to try a bunch of shit. And when you're feeling like overwhelmed, you step aside a little bit, do your thing, and then come back.
I admit it's almost like selfish, where it is, I'm portraying to other artists like, oh, I really just want to do Zoom sessions. But I mean, if that's going to bring out the best music in me, then, why the hell would I not do that? And again, like I had a session with someone from New Zealand, man. And like, we've been,
you're not restricted to your area.
No, man, it's brilliant. It's great. Anyone who like goes to fly to go do a session, unless you're talking like, huge, A-list musicians or something, whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, so. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat can feel you on that because I've had a lot of questions of how can I be a producer if I'm so introverted? Like how can I work with other artists if I I get nervous and I'm shy and this and that. You have the number one example right here. My guy LLusion is just running these Zoom sessions, working with tons of artists, and it's working for him. So.
I mean, dude, again, man. I mean, trust me. There's no doubt that like personality and face value and all that stuff, of course that's key with certain things, there's no doubt, but I mean, look at Wonder Girl. I remember Wonder Girl would always, you'll see her in interviews in the past few years, very reserved, and she would even constantly talk about like, I don't want to be in the light,
right,
I want to do my thing. So it's possible, I mean, producers are known to be like backstage, like behind the curtain kind of thing,
right? So would you say that you prefer the Zoom sessions over the in-person sessions? 100%.
1000%.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I do got to say, like, not trying to like disregard any of these extremely talented artists that I've worked with. But I mean, like, if Doja Cat hit me up, you know what I'm
To
saying?
come
And
through.
like, and she was like, I don't do Zoom. Like, oh yeah, no problem. We're on our way, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
of course, it just depends on the
Have you
situation.
had
But
any pushback with artists where like you're like, oh, I want to do a Zoom session, and they're like, no, I need you.
well, for example, like that girl I told you about, my first session, Upsall,
Mm-hmm.
we met for the first time last month, and we did like this content shoot, and we were just talking about that Zoom session, and she was like, "Yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to do another Zoom session."
She
So,
hated it.
so now I'm like, fuck, if I ever want to work with her again, we can't.
Yeah.
So, and we have set up certain sessions, and they're like, oh, we only do in person, and it's like, okay. But it's pure selfishness. I
Yeah.
just enjoy it for myself. Of course, I'm gonna, whatever.
Are there any artists that you prefer to work with in person?
Damn, that's a good question. Again, since I don't know, I don't really have much experience. Again, I've really only done like 2 or 3 sessions in person, and one of them did not go great. Like I had like a crazy like panic attack and shit. But yeah, no, like if I was working with like, like if Pink Panthers was like, yo, like,
Let's
dig
do
your
something.
shit, let me work. Yeah, let's fucking meet up in person or something. So it kind of just, yeah, like I said, it just depends. But
Yeah, but you're a homebody through and through.
through and through, baby.
I feel it, man. So
Yeah, dude.
what are your current goals then? Because I remember, back when we spoke in 2019, I don't think you really were mentioning that you wanted to work with artists in person
Not
or
at all.
anything. I think you were like, I don't want to do that at all, actually, right?
I was actually like I was totally cool sending out beat packs,
Right.
or I thought it would be as simple as people would hear my beats that are on Spotify
Yeah.
and been like, oh, I want to sing or rap over that, and they would do it, and I'd be like, cool, I didn't have to do anything. But again, ever since I signed my pub deal and everything's changed, and I was kind of like open to it, and I was like, okay, this is like really fun, and I enjoy it. So right off the bat, honestly, like one of my goals in the next year, honestly, like in 2022, I want to have like an extremely successful song that I produced for an artist. That's something that we've come really close to, as I'm making all these songs. Right now we're building my catalog still, where it's like a LLusion song featuring another artist, which is totally great, totally fun. Like I did that with MXM Tune. That song just hit 10 million plays on Spotify. So like things are happening, which is amazing. But I would love for me to produce another song for a bigger artist, and then that song does really good, like, or a TikTok trend. That's my goal for sure.
So
That's
what is really good to you though? Like, what does a successful song look like to you?
It sounds cliche, but like if something was trending on TikTok,
Yeah.
like you get that, and I mean you're pretty much solid. And literally anything can pop off TikTok. I mean, I've been on the app for 2 years straight, and I've seen it change so much. But at the end of the day, something that hasn't changed is that literally anything can become a trend on TikTok.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it sounds like. It doesn't matter if it's a joke. I mean, I don't know if you've been on it, but like the biggest trend lately is like this kid who broke his coffee table, and the way he's talking about it, and like that's become a huge trend. Like it's crazy. So anything's possible with that, especially on the music side. So that would be huge, like to get like a trending song from TikTok, and then that translates over to Spotify. And
is there a stream number that you'd like to hit that would make you happy?
damn. Wait, it's funny because this is where the jaded conversation comes back in.
Because because let's be clear, like 10 million, like you kind of said it 10 million like it was on some casual shit, but 10 million to somebody else is like, yo, are you serious?
True. Okay, so if you don't mind, like here, this may come off kind of weird, but it's also reality that I want people to hear. So I've been signed to Republic Records since about a year now, right? And so before I signed, imagine me in like Little League, right? And I'm killing. I'm like, I normally don't talk about this, but let's say I'm like the best in the Little League, okay, right? Once you get to the big leagues, you're dealing with the Ariana Grandes, the Drakes, the Lil Nas X's, right? I'm on the same label with these people at the end of the day.
So
and
10 million is like,
well, like, do you get me? Like it almost, it starts to fuck with you. And to be honest, I haven't really talked publicly about this, but it kind of sucks, like constantly worrying about numbers. And then when you hit an incredible goal, it's still not enough in your head. Like, for example, my song featuring Freddie Dredd and Lil Toe called "Shut Up" that we dropped less than 2 months ago. Today, it just hit 1 million plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
Now, to most people, including myself, I'm like, what an incredible accomplishment, right? But being in this big leagues with all these different people, it also starts messing with me. Like, is that good enough? Do people think that's good, or what? You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a trip. It's a whole psychological F. That's kind of a bummer. But sorry, I kind of rambled. But
no, that's what we need, man.
Yeah, to get back to your question, yeah, I mean, like, if I were to produce a song for someone, right, and it was killing it, honestly, since I haven't done that yet, honestly, if it got like 1 million plays and I saw that it was constantly rising, that would be a huge accomplishment, something like that for sure.
Somebody asked in the chat, how do you fight being jaded? Do you have techniques to kind of help yourself, or?
It's going to sound cliche or gushy or whatever, because I've been saying this for so long, but if it wasn't for my wife holding me down every single day and constantly reassuring me and motivating me and everything like that, I would be in my head constantly. So my significant other has been
she holds it down,
crucial part mentally and physically. So that's how I kind of stop from BJ. Anytime I talk like that, she's like, you need to get out of your head, kind of thing. So
because she sees, like, she knows what it was from the beginning, and like she knows what your goals were and what your dreams were, and you're living your dream.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Anything past this is just icing on the cake, dude.
Yeah, no, you could not say better, man. I wake up every day thinking that. Like, the biggest thing for me is, like, I hated school, and so just that alone, just being an adult, I'm like, man, I don't ever have to go back to school, right? Like that. But then I really started thinking, I'm like, fuck, dude, like, I don't have to go work a job I don't want to. Like, that is an insane dream. That, like, it's crazy.
Eldridge says he feels the jaded conversation. I'm sure it happens to him all the time.
I've been wanting to talk to Eldridge about this. What up, bro? I didn't even see him in the chat.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation, and I think it's important to have homies that you sort of not maybe necessarily came up with, but they saw you. They're in a similar situation. They know what it feels like to be jaded. It's important to have conversations with these people, because it's like, yo, bro, remember last year when we thought 10,000 streams was amazing?
Right.
Now we're hitting 1 million in a month, and it still doesn't feel like it's good enough. Yeah. Like, it's good to have people to check you, like your wife and just homies around you, and it's. Yeah.
And no, I appreciate you bringing that up, because, like, it sucks to say this, but also it's the reality of things. Like, look, TikTok is not what it used to be. It's like I said, it's constantly changing, like literally every month, right? But something that creators don't lose is followers. Like, just because I have 3.7 million followers on TikTok, and you don't ever really lose that. People don't go and like unfollow you just because of the app works. Like, you're always on the For You page, right? And so unfortunately, like, my numbers have constantly been teeter-tottering, over the summer and through now. But, if I get a video that gets 30,000 likes to a normal person, to anybody, that's amazing. But because I've been so jaded, where I've had videos that have gotten 7 million likes on a video. So when you start comparing it, which you shouldn't, but when you start comparing it, you're like, okay, is 30K likes even good? But course it is. And every time but to answer the jaded question, anytime I'm feeling like psyched out, I'll Google, like, what does 10,000 people look like? And I'll see it, and I'm like, fuck, dude,
it's a lot of people.
It's a lot of thumbs pressing on a button. So it's like, when you start thinking about that, it's like, dude, it's all in your head, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important to talk about. I do think a lot of artists at your caliber, producers and artists, I think they do speak on it, but I think it needs to be spoken on more, because a lot of people that are, I guess, quote unquote, beneath you need to understand that getting to a certain level also has its issues. Like, people all up there also have their problems. It's almost the same problems, just on another level.
Dude, 100%. Like, I fucking A, man. I was trying to think of someone like who's huge right now. Like, I keep saying Doja. So Doja's just fucking ginormous. But imagine someone like, you know who Little Sims is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Imagine being Little Sims, where, like, she has a dope following. Her music is incredible. You know what I'm saying? But for all we know, she could look at someone like Doja Cat or something and been like, why can't my numbers be like that, or whatever? Where I'm looking at Little Sims numbers, why can't I be like that? And I know someone's looking at my numbers saying, why can't I be like that? So it's a constant domino effect, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I was like back to what I said earlier. I think that's why it's important to have a community where you guys constantly check each other, right?
Hmm.
Because imagine living the rest of your life just comparing yourself to other people and being like, man, 15 million is not enough, 20 million is not enough, 30 million is not enough. You're gonna live your dream
Yeah.
in sadness. It's
It's,
fucked.
dude, you are nailing it around the head. Like, I'm not trying to sound ungrateful or anything, but I'm just saying the reality of mental health in this shit, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so fucking scary. And the biggest problem is, though, too, I don't even care to be like a huge celebrity artist, or, you know, I don't care to be a fucking DJ Khaled. I don't care to be a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do not care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally fine. All I want to do is make a living and provide for my family and just do this every single day. That's all I care about, you know? So, um, you know, it's weird. It's there will be artists out there that want to be the best. They want to be number one. They want to get Billboard number one, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, like I'm blessed with anything at this point, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so, but I mean, at the same time, I'm not trying to knock anyone's hustle. If they feel it in their hearts and it's a burning passion, like, I want to be the best, I'm going to be the greatest of all time and make history, then fucking go for it.
Yeah.
But I was having a good conversation with Young Bay, another producer, and we were talking about making like commercial beats and stuff. And I forgot the way he said it, but he kind of put it in a way where he's like, dude, I'm not trying to change the, what do you say? He goes, I'm not trying to change like the wheel of how, you know, the music industry is and everything like that. Like, I'm just going to capitalize on all the opportunities that are in my possession at the moment, you know? So you and me have had this conversation about like the Red Robin commercial, right?
Mhm.
Where if Red Robin came at me and they go, we want something like this, I'm gonna fucking give it to them because I know how to make it,
Right.
and it's fucking Red Robin, and I'm gonna get a fucking bag. I'm like, okay, cool, you know. But at the same time, on the other flip of the coin, I really respect you where, you know, you were honest and you were like, I thought that was kind of a bummer. Like, I thought what I did first was dope, but they
Right.
wanted me to take somewhat of a more safe route,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, it's just it's a balance for sure. And also, this is the last thing I want to speak on the jadedness. I think it's important to have really big goals, right? Well, at least for me, it's important for me to have a very big target, because even if you fall short of the really big target, you'll fall somewhere that's really nice. Whereas if you had a small target, you might exceed that, and it's like, and then what? So I always think it's important to strive high, but it's also important to check yourself every time you hit these small little milestones. So
What could not say it better, man. I agree. When I used to be in cross country in high school, we would, you know, you're already doing like a 5, 6, 7 mile run for practice, and then when you get back to school, some days you would do like core exercises, you know, push-ups, sit-ups, and everything when you're already tired, and then some days you wouldn't. So every day I would prepare my mind thinking that we're going to do core no matter what.
yeah.
So when they would say, yeah, we're not doing it today, I was like, shit, even better. You know? So I don't know why I use that as a reference. I could have used like anything else, but yeah, no, it's true though. Like, always plan, you know, don't have like high expectations, but expect something. I don't get what I'm saying, but you know what I mean?
We'll revisit it and you'll be able to refine it. Let
Yeah,
me address the
literally.
chat real quick. Shout out to Jake for the raid. I appreciate it. It sounds like he's a homie of yours, or maybe he knows you. Shout
Oh
out
yeah,
to Jake. Appreciate the
damn,
raid. Jake
respect.
Twitch. And a lot of other people feel you on the jaded and just having a strong mentality. A lot of people agree with you on that. So I think it's
Dude,
amazing.
yeah, dude, no, shout out Jake, dude. He's killing it on TikTok, man. Dude, I don't know if you've ever seen his videos, but he got known from like, he would like tell his mom to like be like, hey mom, you remember this song or something? And she would like make the beat, but even though he kind of like made it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, he's been killing it, man. Shout out Jake. Damn, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. Hell
Shout
yeah.
out to Jake.
Res-
So what does taking a break look like to you?
Ooh, taking a break.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Well, okay, but we'll get into this conversation, and if Eldre's still in here, he might be able to relate too. Um, it's weird, man. Like, people could look at what I'm doing, or people could look at my TikTok or whatever, and think I'm like busy 24/7. But the the reality is, man, when you're having passive income through Spotify numbers, or anything else, you know, where like, you know, you're constantly making money in your sleep, where to a degree, you know, you don't need to make a beat or 5 beats or 10 beats every single day anymore, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And again, I used to always make this reference. It felt like once TikTok happened, felt like I was like digging for oil for years. And then once you strike oil, your life kind of changes at that point, and you can somewhat kind of like take a breather, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, you know, as much as there's a lot of times I would definitely want to be, you know, super busy all the time, like maybe doing like a session every single day or something. Like I take a lot of pride in that feeling of being like super busy and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like breaks and stuff, like I live somewhat of a leisure life when it comes to like creating, because you know we're so easily accessible to making beats. Like I can literally be in my bed with my laptop making 5 beats if I wanted to, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, every day it kind of changes, you know. But yeah, did that answer your question a
Yeah, so
little?
I sort of wanted to get into like what are some of your hobbies that you like to do outside of making music? I know I know you're a coffee drinker, but that only takes up so much time, you know,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I used to never really have hobbies because it was kind of like I'm putting every single thing
into
of
the music.
of energy into music to
Yeah.
make it, you know. And then once you kind of have a little bit more, you know, kickback time, yeah, I definitely just fell in love with the Chemex. Shout out Kyle Beats for putting us both onto the Chemex gang, and you know, just fell in love with coffee and everything. And so, yeah, not only is that a great hobby, and this may sound cliche, but like I don't know how much of getting tattoos is a hobby, but
Hey
it's
man, it
definitely
looks like it's a hobby to you. So
it's definitely been you know, I've gotten like my whole arms done in the last year and stuff, so that's been really fun.
yeah,
You know, so those are like my two main things I'm like always thinking about.
dope.
So recently I got back into running again, which has been great. I even called you one time when I was watching your stream when I was running.
Yeah,
So yeah, those are kind of like my hobbies.
dope.
Hanging with
Outside
my
of the
dog
music, yeah, it's kind of hard. Like if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're kind of doing that all the
all
time.
the time.
So
Which
it's
you, I mean, which you kind of have to, you know. I mean,
yeah,
like I'm always curious what athletes' hobbies are, you know,
yeah.
because I feel like athletes, they don't have any type of like kickback time. It's always practicing or competing or you know playing games, and like that's it.
Yeah.
So that
It's sort of a blessing and a curse, right? To be doing what you love, like, and you enjoy what you do so much that that's all you really want to do, and you kind of just get wrapped up in it. And then when you get
yeah,
some time to
absolutely.
yourself, you're like, well, shit, what do I do? What am I gonna do with myself?
Dude. And honestly, and I don't know if this goes into a good conversation, but you know, anyone in here who thinks like I don't know, because people talk about this a lot. You know, you don't work a day in your life if you know do what you love, or you know don't make your passion your job kind of thing, right? But I don't know, it's kind of weird, man. Like because we're now making music as my job. It's been a really long time since I've sat down to make something for myself. I
Mm.
can't remember the last time I've ever done that. Anytime I've sat down to make a beat or make a song, it's for a TikTok remix, it's for a
There's a
session.
purpose.
There's a purpose now, which trust me, I kind of prefer right now because I've spent years making beats for myself. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like when I had no following because I'm practicing or I'm
Right.
just doing it because I love doing it and it's a passion. But as of right now, because it's my job, it's going to be very rare that I'm just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to make a random beat for fun, you know.
Right.
But there's a lot of like mental cleanliness to that as well as trying to make just random shit for
Something
yourself.
random just because you feel like it.
Yeah, like if I was more structured with like my schedule, I would definitely put that in my weekly schedule. Like
Yeah.
make one beat this week that is just for yourself or something. But
Right.
it's really hard to fucking do that, man. I don't know if you've ever felt that way,
Yeah,
but
100%. I
yeah,
have that. Struggle with that all the time, and I know a lot of people in the chat. Also, let us know in the chat if you struggle with that. Do you ever take time to just make something with no purpose behind it? Like, do you just
yeah,
make something because you want to just try it and nothing comes from it? Because
yeah,
it's super interesting. Because I talk to everybody about that. Like, do you ever sit down and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to make something with one hand, or like something random. Like, I'm just gonna try and make something that would be cool on like a, I don't know, just something random that nobody's
yeah,
ever gonna hear and nobody's ever gonna know that I made this.
yeah.
It's very interesting. And I know a lot of people that are coming up, they sort of do that already. Like, oh, they make like 10 beats a day and they know that nobody's really going to hear this stuff. So that's where we come
Yeah,
from.
yeah, absolutely. And it's funny too, man, because I don't know, people always say like, don't follow what's trending musically
Hmm.
wise, just make what you love, just make what you want. But at the same time, man, it's weird. Like, for example, that singer I told you about, Pink Panthers, who's been just blowing up on TikTok, she's from the UK. So she's singing over, D&B, drum and bass and jungle beats and shit like that. Where now, because that's so huge right now that gives me a new window where I'm like, oh, cool, people are fucking with this. Great. I used to make drum and bass beats.
Right.
Now I can just fucking make them again, and now they're gonna have more light towards them. So that's another thing too, where don't ever knock when people go like, oh, you're just following what's trendy, or you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like sometimes we kind of need that to kind
Yeah. You
of
just want to try something else, dude.
exactly, man. Like all the Timbo beats and Pharrell beats in the early 2000s. I mean, that was happening because that's what was fucking trending at the time,
Yeah.
and people loved that fucking sound. And I still hope that sound comes back. I mean, shout out Baby No Money. He raps over beats similar to like that. But we need to bring more of that style back, dude. You ever make beats like that? Like Neptune's
Oh, yeah.
2004?
All the time. All the time.
So fun.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I do kind of make for myself, but I have a good confidence that will be used at some point down the line.
Yeah, I guess what I should have said earlier is not because I said with making something with no purpose. What I meant was like making something with no intention of showing it to anybody else. Because I feel like now when you start a beat, you know that this is gonna be for the Apple commercial. You know that this is gonna be
Yeah,
for
literally.
Burger King. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
what's who's gonna hear this. So
absolutely.
yeah,
It's funny you say, because I on my publisher, he'll send me emails of like, hey, this company is looking for songs like this, or so they let me know like, hey, Apple's looking for beats like this, and one of them was like a Kate Renata song or
yeah.
stuff like this. But yeah, so I feel that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's so interesting to talk to like to talk to other producers that go through similar things when you feel like
Yeah,
you're the only one going through that. But it's like we all share a similar experience. I mean, no matter what level you're on, we all sort of share similar experiences.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's crazy.
couldn't agree more, man. I just realized you got all the records up in the stew.
Yeah, man, it feels like home. I wanted to make this spot feel like home, so I put up all the records.
What made you come back to the studio?
The internet, 100%. Because I just signed the Twitch deal and I was like trying to stream at home, but then the internet kept cutting out, stream kept cutting out. I was like, I can't.
Damn,
This isn't good. So
damn, respect. And if you don't mind me asking, I'm not trying to get you swatted, so
yeah.
you can say it in cryptic, but you can just answer: are you far from your
No,
residence?
it's from my house.
Yeah.
No, I'm like 10 minutes. 10 minutes
Oh,
away.
you're
Yeah, I'll give
golden.
the address on stream if anybody wants to swat. Like, this is great content. No, I'm kidding. Somebody
No, that's
actually did DM me the other day. They were like, they didn't even start with a hey or a yo or a what's up. They were just like, use a VPN so you don't get swatted. And I was like, whoa, does that mean
holy
like
shit.
you were low key kind of try? Like you
Yeah.
were trying to swat me or what's going on?
That's,
So
love
yeah,
that.
I don't know. I don't think anybody would do that, but who knows? I mean, I've seen people get swatted before. H3's been swatted a bunch of times. So
Dude, I feel so bad for them. Like, I feel like out of everyone, they've been swatted the most.
yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, let's talk about TikTok because obviously you came up on TikTok. If I don't know if that's fair to say,
Oh,
but
that's very fair to say.
TikTok gave you a nice career.
Oh, fuck yeah, absolutely.
So it's been like 2 or 3 years now that TikTok is like
2 years.
been bubbling. Do you feel like TikTok is still the best way to promote yourself over like YouTube and everything else?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Like, not knocking people on YouTube. I mean, I was doing that for so fucking long. But I think about it, I'm like, are people still trying to make it on YouTube? Like,
Yeah.
because it's so empty on YouTube. I feel like even if you have steady content and then you get a video on YouTube that fucking blows up, there's like this weird chain link where it doesn't get connected anymore. But that connection from TikTok, it's slowing down for sure from what it used to be. Like when I came up on TikTok, like there's no way in hell that the way I came up 2 years ago would happen exactly the same way today. It wouldn't happen just because TikTok has changed so fucking much. And not to get into a big thing, but I remember a big topic of when you first asked me about TikTok, you were like, how'd you get the sound muted. So,
Right, right, right.
you know what I'm saying?
Like
Like
technical
now,
questions.
exactly. Now people know how to fucking do that right away. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely very different, but you know, I think YouTube's just a great platform for people that have followings, and then we keep our content over there and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, TikTok is 1,000,000,000%
The
the
best.
number one best way to get your music promoted out there. However you figure out how to do it. I mean, people are doing it in so many different ways. Again, Jake was just in here. Shout out to him. He figured out, you know, hey, I'm gonna make beats with my mom, and it popped
Yeah,
off.
I'm gonna use my
Now,
mom for content.
yeah, literally. But
Yeah.
now, you know, now he created a name for himself where now he can do shit without his mom, and just now
Yeah.
people focus
I'm
on him
kidding,
now.
by the way, Jake. I think it's amazing. I don't even know who that is. I don't want him to take that the wrong way.
Oh no. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's all good. Yeah, no, he's dope. You know, so people figure it out, man. But I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like this one video that's huge. It went viral, but in a negative way, and it was about this girl who made a whole video saying like my life sucks and blah blah blah, and she's talking about how she like lives in the middle of nowhere and like
Hmm.
pity story, and
Right.
like you should stream my music, and people will flame you for that. So you got to be you know, be cautious. Don't be super you know, don't be clickbaity. But
Yeah.
like, you know, TikTok isn't clicks. It's more just, you know, don't make bait videos, I guess.
Yeah. Just be genuine. I mean, that girl could. I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but maybe she was being genuine. It just didn't come off the right
No,
way.
no, she's actually a horrible
Oh fuck.
person. No, but all good.
Well,
But yeah, so warning to everyone, just, you know, tread lightly with that.
yeah. So how do you come up with TikTok ideas? Do you are you just scrolling through TikTok, seeing what's popular, and then kind of putting your own spin on things, or what's the
Yeah,
process like?
hold on, give me one
Yeah, go
second.
ahead.
Oh,
LJ, shout out to you for being in the chat. Kalima, I see all you guys' questions. Second Nature, Flowtron, what's up? No prod, I see. No prob, sorry. I see you guys in here. I'm just trying to keep the conversation going, and then once I get all my questions out the way, I'll let the chat ask a bunch of questions. So this is me time. I want to ask these questions. I got some spicy ones coming up.
Ooh, okay. But yeah, okay, going back to, you know, TikTok trends, what to remix. So again, everything goes back to my wife. I mean, she was a huge part of when I started from TikTok, because I didn't know how the app really worked. I didn't really want to spend time. I didn't really want to spend hours on the app because I just felt like I wouldn't really be being productive.
Hmm.
But in the beginning, man, I mean, she was the one using the app for hours on the day, making sure what's trending. Hey, this song's trending, remix this, okay? And then I would literally just make a random beat, put the vocals over, and she'd be like, no, like this doesn't make sense. Like you need to make a transition, make this point, put these sound effects in the remix so that way people can, you know, interact with the remix. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All that type of stuff. So she was an absolute huge dynamite part of that whole beginning. And now we've done it for so long, it's just common sense. Like, okay, this song's trending. Okay, cool. But to be honest, it's been a little difficult lately. I've noticed. I just feel like maybe that's me not just wanting to make a lo-fi remix of everything
Yeah.
anymore. Like I kind of just got burnt out on that, or I
Right.
just feel like I'm trying to make a reaction, you know? So that was what was so great about making lo-fi remixes, where if I'm going to remix Comethazine's Walk, a very aggressive trap song, and if I put that over a beautiful, peaceful, chill lo-fi beat, that's going to turn a lot of heads, and that's
Hmm.
going to make people react. So lately, you know, if there's a song trending or whatever, and if I try to make a lo-fi remix, it just doesn't give me that feeling of like turning heads, like, whoa,
Because people
this
have
is
done it and like they've seen it before.
yeah, you know, and I don't know. I don't want to just blame the songs that have been trending on TikTok, but just something just feels like the songs that have been trending lately haven't been great remix material.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just me, just in my head. So it's been, I guess, a little different. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same routine, whatever's trending, and there's literally new trends every single week. I follow pages that focus on trends, like, hey, new trend alert,
Right.
this song's on the rise, use it, blah blah blah. So
So
yeah.
you're still taking the remix approach to TikTok.
Yeah, but I've also switched up my content where like I got like a really nice camera, and so now I'm focusing on shooting everything on there and making nice edited videos on Final Cut and stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm doing remixes, but also since it's been 2 years since I started, I kind of have this uh what's the word? I can I can talk about shit that happened 2 years ago. Like, hey, this is how I made
Right.
this trending song 2 years ago.
You're a sort of a vet in the TikTok community,
Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So which is so fucking crazy because it's literally been 2 years. But unfortunately, I mean, that's just how it is on the app, dude. I mean, like I'm in the 2019, 2020 era,
Mhm.
and people make videos all the time. Like I saw this one video and it was like, comment if you're a creator that fell off from 2019.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that were huge 2 years ago that are not anymore.
Yeah.
And I can be honest with myself, and I know that I'm not exactly where I was on the app 2 years ago, but I don't fucking care because I am so fucking proud of what me and my wife accomplished on that app at that time, and I truly do have the confidence and self-respect that we made a huge impact on the app, and I truly don't think it would be, certain things wouldn't be a part of the app if it wasn't for what we did.
Right.
So I can confidently say that. And I don't really care to be at the fucking top 24/7. That'll fucking kill you, man. That'll, dig you to the
Because
grave.
you can't always be at the top. It just doesn't work that way.
But there's people that are so hungry that want to do that, and that want to be at the best and constantly do, it's people that will make controversial content just for people to get eyes on them,
Right.
the MGKs out there and shit like that. So yeah, I know I'm not where I was on TikTok, but I'm extremely proud of what we did, and because of that, I don't need to really focus on that anymore. I'm doing all these great sessions with all these artists, and striving to, and I've been doing these commercials. Like we have a Peloton commercial coming out next week that
Keep going.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
so that's gonna be huge. So hopefully I can get into more commercials and shit. So yeah, man.
Yeah. What's really cool is that you can have the nostalgia play now. Like because you have all these trending sounds or
Exactly.
that used to trend. Now you can, hey guys, you remember this sound? And everyone's like, oh my God, I missed this era.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
dude, that's literally I just did one of those videos recently, and that video got more likes than some of my other videos I've been doing. So it works,
It's cool, man. Now you have the nostalgia play in your back pocket. So I think that's
literally.
amazing.
I'm like, shit, I gotta start preaching. Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition a little bit. I want to talk about money, which is my favorite thing to talk about in the world.
You and Kyle, man, I always talking about it.
Of course, as always, we don't have to get into specifics of money because people. I totally get it. But would you be comfortable talking about income streams as far as like highest income stream to like the lowest amount? Would you be comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So can you break it down for us?
Yeah. So wait, hold on. I think I got confused because I was thinking of something else. Restate your question.
What is your income? What are your income streams look like from the highest to the lowest? Like what brings in the most money?
Got it. Got it. So just right off the bat, I'm not going to say the price, but when I got my record deal, when I got my pub deal, they give you advances. They give you upfront payments. Like here you go.
Right. Live off of this.
Yeah, literally. Right. So, and when you sell your catalog over to your label, you don't get that monthly income from like DistroKid anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For X amount of time, or for the amount of for the rest of your contract.
So actually, surprisingly, there's this thing called a pipeline, right? And so we all know this, but DistroKid's payments, they're like months behind,
right.
Right? So because we earned so much off of Spotify streams before I signed to my label, we were so behind with DistroKid. Like they owed us a lot more, but you can only give out so much every single month. So once we signed the deal, they go, hey, you still have all this money still coming towards you from DistroKid. So once that pipeline is done, then you don't get any more of that, and then you just live off of the upfront fee kind of thing. So it's been over a year, and we're still getting shit from the pipeline, which has been great. It slowly gets lower each month or whatever, which is kind of like, it's like kind of weird looking, but it's great to still have that, right? So that.
And when did you sign your deal again? This
was like technically January of 2020, but not officially till May.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been so it's even been more than a fucking year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like the biggest piece of the pie is like the upfront fees. To anyone out there who lives off of like a certain amount in their account, and you kind of just have to like make sure it's still there, and you have to have discipline of bringing it out and everything. It's definitely trippy. It's
It's a different way to live.
yeah, it's a different. I mean, my wife and I used to literally live off $400 a week between the both of us because we both work just minimum paying
Right.
jobs, and
Which is the
we
norm for most, I feel.
yeah, absolutely. And so when you go from that paycheck to paycheck to now where we are, it's definitely a trip for sure. But yeah, and then YouTube slowed down, but that was my choice because I took less focus in uploading frequently on YouTube and trying to also make a huge content thing over there. But before I did that, we were still getting, so then that monthly income was from YouTube, right, which was
Hmm.
dope. That was a great thing. And then now it's everything on the side too, commercials, or I'll have like producer fees for certain things, or people still pay me for remixes,
Hmm.
and so yeah, that's how I would kind of like grade it a
So you
little
got the
bit.
advance, and then you got YouTube, and then everything else is sort of like scattered and sort of
Yeah,
not very consistent, but like it'll come in waves, sort of.
yeah, absolutely. And so are the prices. Like, if someone says, "Hey, will you do this remix for X amount of
Yeah,
money?" Um, I'll do it, or I have the choice to be like, no, or so it all just kind of varies.
yeah,
But yeah,
that's dope, dude.
as far as dollars, that's pretty much where it's all happening,
Yeah,
and this was our first year paying taxes, but like a heavily
yeah, a
amount.
big amount. Yeah,
Yeah,
big boy
and
taxes.
super long story short, but it actually just happened for us. But I was working with like a big um accountant, like he does like Juice World's
Hmm.
estate and shit. So he's focused on big fry people, right? And so we were kind of like the small people to him. And so he kind of just like, went over, lightly brushed over our taxes, didn't really care for write-offs or this or that.
Right.
And he gave us like an insane amount to pay. And we were like, this just doesn't feel right. I understand we're supposed to pay taxes, but this just doesn't feel right. So long story short, we go to a more personal accountant, and my wife, once again, just fucking killing it. She does all the taxes, did everything. She found like 80 plus categories of write-offs that we could write off,
Yeah, get them
uh,
write-offs, baby.
dude, like you can write off like tires
Everything,
or
bro.
chocolates and flowers.
Get
There was a
creative
category.
with it, dude.
Yeah, you literally can get so creative with it, right? And so anyways, now we just found out we don't have to pay anywhere close to that amount, so
That's
that's
good,
a huge
man. You're a
blessing.
walking
So
business, dude. Literally everything you touch could be a
yeah,
write-off.
yeah, literally, man, absolutely.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
mentioned the accountant, which was sort of the thing that I wanted to talk about next. Is like, what's your relationship with money? Like, obviously you said you were living off of $400 a week. Like, what is your relationship with money now? Are you heavily saving? Are you investing? Do you have an accountant that handles all that?
yeah. To be honest, not really, but I am. I don't know. Like, everyone talks about like Bitcoin and this and that and the whole bit stuff, and that's definitely interesting. And I know a lot of people that have been like super into stocks and everything, but it's also super sketchy and scary to me as well. But my mother-in-law, she's like all into like real estate and escrow and type of stuff, and so we talk a lot about investing into properties one day and
Yeah.
this and that. So it's definitely a huge way of life, because if you kind of just like sit on money and don't really do anything with it, yeah, I mean,
It's losing value every day, bro. They're
yeah,
printing
yeah,
money right now, so the dollar is just losing value.
yeah, exactly. So I definitely want to get more involved with it for sure, and maybe even have like a financial advisor and stuff
Yeah,
like that. I think anyone could use that for sure, even if you're,
100%.
walking in just an average, just all that type of shit.
Yeah. You
Um,
got to have your money working for you 24 hours a day, bro.
yeah, exactly, man.
So,
Yeah, so that's what's up with that.
yeah. But I mean, you're also super young, so even if you don't have shit set up now, and anybody else in the chat that doesn't have shit set up now, even if you just start thinking about it now, it's
Yeah,
important because
yeah,
be sitting on money is to be wasting it, to be honest. Like if it's
yeah.
just sitting somewhere in an account, or if even worse, if it's just sitting in an envelope, like I know some people have,
Damn.
but it's just losing value every day. So to have
Yeah,
it working for you in investments and whatever it is, in real estate and in the stock market and Bitcoin, whatever it is, whatever your vehicles are, there's a million vehicles out there for your money to
yeah.
grow. So
Absolutely. Yeah, for
um,
sure. I mean, one thing we wanted to do was buy a house first. That way we have that just in case of anything. We're literally sitting on something that we could always like turn around if we wanted to or something like that. So that's
yeah,
always been a huge conversation for sure.
yeah. So okay, so let's talk about this. Are you in the process of sort of creating a business that where you're not the center of it? Have you had any thought in that?
I that is constantly in the back of my head because I think we've talked about this before, but some people in the chat right now who are super focused on Eldre, gotta love money. People that are super focused on of just constantly making beats and striving for their passion of making music constantly. This may sound kind of lame to some people, but I've been making music for fucking 8 years now, and I don't, I just don't see myself in 20 years still making beats. Like, I know that sounds like
That's the
it'll always
truth,
be a
man.
part of me. It'll always be a part of me, but I don't know. I just feel like we're destined to do more from this. I truly feel like this is just like the kernel right now. I truly feel like this is just the beginning of what this could transpire into. And
Hmm.
what that might be, I'm not sure. I didn't, if you asked me 3 years ago if this was going to be my life, I would have said, you're fucking crazy. So really anything's possible at this point. And but my biggest like advice to myself and biggest advice to anyone out there is like, shout out to Decap. He tweeted this one time and I was like, damn, that's dope. But he said something like, don't he said like don't agree to an opportunity if it's not in line with your vision.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's huge because I think people freak out anytime they get like any good opportunity
Yeah.
and they think they need to like.
Especially if they come far and few between, bro.
Exactly. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people with bad intentions out there, so if you kind of have this, mentality that every opportunity is a good opportunity, it could be kind of a sketchy road.
Hmm.
So yeah, if great opportunities come my way, which I think could lead into other stuff, yeah, of course, I'm going to take that. But I definitely see, to answer your question, yeah, to see making different businesses or something in line with that where I'm not the main focus or I have people working around, kind of like how H3 started Teddy Fresh. I'm
Yeah.
not talking specifically about clothing lines,
Hmm.
but I'm just that idea where now, you know, that's them.
That's
But
something that could live without them being the face
yeah,
of it.
oh my god, like they could live alone based off Teddy Fresh if they
Hmm.
wanted to. But obviously they're smart and they know to keep going with everything else. So yeah, it's everything like that for sure.
Yeah. I think about that often, dude, because, obviously I would love to make music for a long time. I love making
Yeah,
music, but what about when like there comes a day when I don't want to make music anymore?
yeah,
How am I going to make money? So I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
while it's hot, you got to have some other stuff brewing in the pot.
Yeah,
So where you're not the focus of it, because you're not always
yeah.
going to be the focus of the money coming in.
Exactly. If I can read the chat, or I probably shouldn't read the chat if that's okay,
It's
but
all good.
I
Go
did
ahead.
see the one that I'm curious about. Second Nature says, "What happens, or what do you do if you lose your vision?" And I think that's dope because there's probably a lot of people that psych themselves out. Or trust me, dude, I was doing the same fucking thing, man. When I was doing YouTube videos and posting them once a week and thinking that I was like, dude, this is not gonna fucking work. Getting like 10 views on a video, but yeah, so it's super easy to lose your vision. But yeah, just keep your eyes peeled, and if something else takes your course and strikes your passion that way, try that out. But my manager, he's in his 50s right now, so in the 80s he was in like a rising punk band, like they were performing with Black Flag and all these like really big Operation Ivy and shit, they all these big punk bands. But once they like signed a deal, they said like they just all kind of like lost that feeling they wanted, right? And they kind of quit. And maybe him at that age, being a young 20-year-old, he probably thought, oh, my life's over now, or I thought I was going to be this big punk band, blah
Right.
blah blah. But now he's my manager and he manages all these fucking huge artists and Freddie Dredd
Still
and
a part of the
all
music
these
somehow.
yeah. And and he started two record labels and he worked with different record labels. So just before anyone goes, oh, I can't make beats anymore, I'm done, I'm done out of the music industry, it is scary how much we can eat in the music industry,
Yeah.
man. I mean, yeah, whether or not you are the main highlight or the focus anymore, you can still make a living and do some really fucking cool things in the music industry and still be around that,
Yeah.
So
Not
that's
necessarily
my
making
advice.
music.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as vision or just anyone, that could even be me right now for all I know. Again, I don't know what the future has planned, man, but for all I know, I could still be in the music industry, but not making a fucking lick of music. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But it's cool that you have that in your back pocket somehow, like that because you have all these new connections and that you know all
Exactly.
these people within the music industry that don't even create music, like that could
Yeah,
be your position, you know?
dude, absolutely. Like, you know much about Zane Lowe?
I mean, I know who he is, I know what he does, but if you got some
Okay.
details for me.
Well, not really. I'm just going to
Oh,
create a
okay.
hypothetical conversation just
Yeah.
because he was the first one that came to mind. Like, I don't know much about what he did when he was younger, but like, let's say he really wanted to be a musician when he was younger, right? And like, maybe let's say that didn't work out, or maybe it did for a little bit or whatever. Now he's, like one of the biggest, most respected, interviewers or DJ hosts and kind of thing like that, where, so if right now, I mean, dude, we think we overthink so much in our 20s, and I'm only 23 right now, and we think this is our biggest prime
Right.
time life and everything. And I could sound ignorant or naive right now, but dude, I'm looking forward to my 30s and 40s,
Let's
man. Like,
go.
I truly do feel like we can make some great shit in that era, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take a few questions from chat. I only have 3 more questions that I want to ask you, and then we can open it up to the chat. I know a lot of people have been asking stuff, and I've been missing it because I'm trying to stay engaged with you. But
Yeah,
Kalima
yeah.
says, going off of vision, is the vision the main thing that informs your business decisions?
Hmm. It's a good question. I mean, I would assume so, just because, without that vision, what are you looking at? What are you looking for? What is your goal? I think vision is just a better word for, what's your end goal kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I don't believe in like 5-year plans or 10-year plans, because you do not know what's going to happen. Like,
you're gonna get punched in the mouth.
oh my God, man. And like, I don't, yeah, absolutely fucking lutely. And like, I don't mean to get, morbid or deep here, but, there's a lot of people, family, friends that, can unfortunately pass away out of nowhere that you didn't expect, or they get sick or something, or, just something, man. I mean, things can absolutely take a huge fucking turn. Or on a more positive note, I didn't know fucking TikTok was going to be the ticket to my success. And
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. You had to pivot.
you don't know, man. So people who have like a 5-year vision, or maybe even like a 2-year vision, or a fucking 1-year vision, I don't fucking know. I mean, sometimes that's not always the best case, man. I think just be passionate with everything that you're doing, and just fucking, I don't know, be kind of ready for anything, I guess.
Yeah, for real. Okay,
You
so
know?
like I said, I have 3 more questions that I want to ask, and then we'll open up to the chat.
Yeah.
So describe your perfect music session. Like, I know you said, we talked about in the beginning, you said that you love doing Zoom sessions. Like, what is the perfect ideal music session for you?
I literally just had one similar 2 days ago.
Mm.
It was this singer Stephanie Poetry. She signed to 88 Rising with Joji and everyone, and she's fucking huge in like Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
um, and huge fucking following. And so I was super intimidated going into this session, and because I normally do sessions with other writers, so we'll have a songwriter or a session musician. So if I can't play guitar, they can just knock it out real
Right.
quick. But we're all
You're like, yo,
collaborating.
can you do like a and then they're like, and then just
Yeah,
play it real
yeah,
quick.
yeah, absolutely, right. Or
Fire.
how I normally do my sessions. Again, I'm a big splice head, so I'll have 10 splice samples ready that I think will complement the artist really well.
Right.
And every session I've done, they have never turned down my samples. They will 9 out of 10 times always be like, at least one of them will get us going,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of all that you need. So, anyways, my session the other day, we like immediately I could tell she was flexible with anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made me comfortable, where now I was like, okay, cool. Like, let me show you this or that. And she was like, this is dope. This is perfect, whatever. And then it gave me so much confidence, where she was having trouble with like coming up with a chorus melody.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't fucking sing, dude. And I never come up with verse or pre-chorus or bridge or chorus melodies. I physically can't do that. But just the energy was really good that day. And I literally went downstairs to take a piss, and I heard it in my head. And I like ran up, got my voice memo and did it.
Yeah.
And then I showed her, and she was like, oh, that's actually really cool. And so she did it. And I'm like, fucking great, So something similar to that, where it can be as simple as, and again, we didn't have a third person in that session that day because no one could come. So it was just me and her. So that at first freaked me out, and I was like, fuck, dude, I don't know about this. So, everything was looking negative, but everything else came out really, really good. And the song we made was really cool. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an ideal thing where just everything is just meshing really well, you know?
Are you always prepared for these sessions? Like you always have samples pulled up?
Every time. Oh yeah. Oh man, I would be shitting myself if I just came in like, ooh, I don't have anything
Do you
prepared.
have beats prepared also, or just samples?
I will have beats prepared just in case, but at the same time, that's always my plan B. If I show them all these samples and they're not feeling
Yeah.
it, or you know, if they're like, hey, I kind of like that sample, and then we start making something and we're not feeling it, I'll use that in my back pocket and be like, hey, like I got some pre-made shit that I think maybe you might dig or we can work around.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple times where that actually fucking saved me.
Yeah.
It was my first in-person studio session, and it was actually of a TikTok friend of mine, and we're trying to get her like artist career out there and everything. So it's not even like an artist that I was like intimidated by, but still, dude, I was having a fucking severe panic attack because you know they're watching me and they're breathing down my neck, and the beat that we were making was not fucking good at all, and I was
Yeah.
freaking out. Oh, sorry. So I go, well, I have this one, and I play, and she's like, oh, this is fucking dope. Like, let's do this. So, it's always like a good plan B for sure.
Yeah. How many do you usually have ready to go, like beats wise? Like how many do you have in the folder ready to play?
I don't. It can sometimes it can be like off the top of my head, but you know, just to be safe, like 3 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty. I mean, yeah, I was thinking like, well, because usually when I was running sessions with people, obviously I'd have samples. I'd have
Yeah.
hundreds of samples ready to go, but
Nice.
I'd have like 40 beats, just because I'm so scared of like
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
them a bunch of stuff, and they're like, well,
got it.
let's see what else you got, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I will say this, man. Like, this is gonna sound a little, what's the right term? I don't know, but the sad truth, man, about the industry that I've just in my personal experience, I don't want to be that guy that's like, industry out to get you, man, and blah, blah. Like, I'm not that type of guy. But in my personal experience, in the last year of really seeing the industry, um, people will fucking just like I hate when I meet people. If it's with another artist and they're trying to be nice, cool, respect. Like I appreciate it. But like, dude, I know I'm not doing anything fucking revolutionary, okay? Like
yeah,
I know I'm not the fucking next David Bowie or something, right? So when people I had this one interview with another publishing company before I signed with BMG. I'm not gonna say who, but they're like kind of up there. And they were like, it just seems so like fake what they were saying to me. They're like, what you do, man, is so unique and so cool. And
yeah. You weren't buying
love
it.
and in my head, I'm like, fucking lying,
What do
dude.
you
Like,
guys need? What do you guys want from me?
like, come on, dude. Like I use splice samples. Like it's nothing that fucking crazy, you
Right.
know? And I say that because I'm honest with myself and I understand that, you know, I'm not the next fucking Kanye West because I don't want to be the next fucking Kanye West. You know, I'm very grateful for my position now. So I'm gonna fucking whatever opportunity, cool, I'll capitalize on it. But what fuck, I got off on tangent. Why did I bring this up? I was just saying, you know, so with that being said, if you have somewhat of an established name, you know, they're going to subconsciously like one of your beats more.
Right.
Okay. Now, like, you know, so if I had no following at all, and if I'm going to be in a session and I'm like the producer or engineer of this session, I'm going to have not a lot of confidence in showing them a certain production style or a beat that I have ready, you know? And on the other side of the coin, the artist could be feeling the exact same way, you know, like, hey, like this is my session. So I'm going to tell this producer to do whatever I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
want.
yeah.
So when you both kind of come into a session and you both somewhat have an established name or you've proven that you're capable of doing some great shit, like me being on TikTok or even being fucking verified on socials, I've noticed like that, you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to get a DM response if you're verified versus if you're not
Right.
majority of time. And that's, you know, that was the biggest reason why I wanted to be fucking verified on Instagram. Not, I don't
So you
fucking
could
care
reach out to people because the
yeah,
power of
fuck
the check is
God, dude.
insane.
Yeah. And it's fucking worked, you
Yeah.
know, a couple times. So, um, what's that called? So yeah, so that's kind of why I kind of only have like 3 or 5 beats prepared because I somewhat have the confidence in like,
Yeah.
okay, like I'm pretty sure you're gonna like at least one of these or something,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. My preparedness of having 30 beats is definitely coming from insecurity. So I'm not trying to. Yeah. I'm not trying to like one up you by saying I have 30. I'm just saying
No, no,
like
no.
that's just.
I get you. That's why I brought that up for sure.
Yeah.
And but I haven't encountered a time where they don't like anything. And now I'm
Yeah,
just sitting there like,
it's a
okay,
producer's nightmare.
dude, yeah. So, but honestly, and I know that day might come, and Kenny Beats talks about it a lot. He's always like, be fucking prepared. Like, no artist wants to sit there while you're going through 20
Yeah,
different
it's not the
sounds.
move for sure. Especially if you're
Yeah.
paying for studio time. Like
Oh
nobody
my
wants.
god.
Yeah,
Yeah. And dude, that's another thing, dude. I don't know if you still get hate, but I remember people used to say shit about you using drum loops all the time or this or that, right?
yeah,
And it's like, dude, I respect you so much for literally grabbing the sample, grabbing the drum, boom, you got the
yeah.
fucking thing
The vibe
rolling,
is so important, dude.
dude.
I hate the
So
word and I use it all the time, but
I
it's the
know,
best
right?
way to describe it.
It is,
Get the
dude. It's the
energy going.
dude. As long as you're not wearing a shirt that said like vibe,
Yeah,
it's not
vibe.
okay, fine,
The
whatever.
vibe is me or whatever.
But in like that weird cursive, like 40-year-old
Right,
white
right,
woman. Writing.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, so like, um, I will majority of the time use the same drum sounds when I'm just trying to create something, and then I'll worry about it later.
Yeah.
Even though majority of the time I probably won't worry about it
You
later.
won't. You never will. You never
Yeah,
do. You never
I,
do.
you ever get demo-itis like
Oh,
where
dude. Are
dude,
you
it's so
serious?
bad.
All the
It's
time,
so
bro.
bad.
All the time. It's bad. It's not a good practice. And for those who don't know, demoitis is basically just listening to a demo, falling in love with it, knowing that's not the final
Oh,
piece. And then
yeah,
when you listen to the final mix or the final master, you're like, something about it is different.
yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it's great, dude. That's the biggest flex and fucking pleasure I have of being signed to a label is like I have an engineer to my disposal.
Yeah.
And he's the greatest fucking dude ever, and so I'll literally send him shit on the fly, and he's like always on the clock because like he's supposed to, like
Right.
he's under a cloak or whatever. And I'm like, hey man, like we need this mix real quick, and he'll send it back to me the next day, and it sounds fucking great and loud, and I didn't have to look at it. I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
But then there's times where he did something where I wasn't expecting it and I didn't really like it. And I go, hey man, can you like change that? And he's like, not a problem, dude. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like it's like not a big deal. They don't take it personal because that's their job
Yeah.
to just fucking do it.
It's
So
all about the music, man. Music first, and
yeah,
yeah, your ego can come. Ego's at the door.
exactly, dude. Yeah,
So
well said.
yeah, I have two more questions, and then we'll open it up. I don't think, honestly, like with all the technical difficulties, we can't obviously cook up anything,
Oh
and you got to go in 20
yeah,
minutes. So,
all good.
and I know you got a
Appreciate it.
session later, so I want to save your ears. But what do your friends and family think about your success? Do you guys talk about it often, or?
We actually so my in-laws or like my wife's family, I've gotten extremely close with them. They are 100% my family. On my side of the family, it's actually like really small. It's like really just like my dad and my brother and just like a couple other people. But my wife's family, they constantly like hype me up and we talk about it all the time. They're extremely, supportive and
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
yeah, one of her uncles like always wears my merch and shit.
Hell
So
yeah.
like, dude, I don't even have my own fucking merch. It's a long story, but I
Yeah.
still don't even have like shirts that fit me right.
Yeah.
But he wears the merch and shit. So they're super supportive, man, and we do talk about it all the time. And to be honest, it makes me feel really good because when you're on social media and you're competing with all these other big artists that are getting crazy numbers and shit, when you look at them, you feel small. But when you talk to family that aren't spending every fucking day hours on their phone, like comparing you to other artists,
Yeah.
they're gonna make you feel like really good about
Yeah.
yourself.
You're the biggest thing in their eyes.
Yeah, like, well, I'll say that humbly, but yeah, I get you, So,
Yeah.
yeah, so they're extremely supportive, man,
Yeah.
and shout out my pops, man, just like since day one, dude, when I was in high school and he bought me my first machine because like,
He believed in you.
he fucking believed in me, yeah, for sure. And I probably mentioned this at some point, but he's a film editor and he's been in the industry for 25 plus years, and so being a creative person and making a career out of that, like he saw that in me really young and wanted to fucking build off of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's amazing, man, that you have support
yeah.
like that. That's really cool. So for
Yeah.
everybody in the chat, I have one more question for LLusion, but if you have questions for him, personal questions, I guess what other kind of questions would you have for him, or just general producing questions, leave them in the chat. We're gonna open it up and finish the stream with that. But I have one more question for you, dude. I don't know how deep this could be or how deep you want to get, but how do you want to be remembered?
Whoa, damn.
Yeah, I know it's a heavy question. If you got to take some time, it's all good.
Damn, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's really sick. Cause you know why it's Damn, that's really cool. Because obviously, I know what you mean by that. Like when I'm no longer here,
Right.
right? But also like two things on a smaller degree, right? I'm already getting a small feeling of that on TikTok. Like I said, like I don't care that I'm not on top anymore on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok anymore or whatever. I've done my time and I'm extremely grateful for it. And if I can keep it going, but great, that's dope. But I've already gotten that feeling, man. When people come up to me and or they'll comment shit like, "Dude, you're the fucking goat, man." Like, with 2019 TikTok, 2020 or whatever, man. Like you were the best, blah blah.
You were the
People
man.
could,
Yeah.
well, no, like seriously, like people could take that in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at that like, damn, like that's fucking dope. People are already remembering me,
Yeah.
whether or not I'm still doing it. Like, doesn't fucking matter. Like, I made a difference. I made an impact on here, and that's fucking great. And like that's why I respect you and Eldre and Kyle and just you guys are fucking still my peers, man. That I still look up to. But you guys always like tip your hat and give me the utmost respect, and I appreciate that a lot. So just on that aspect, I mean, I already feel like I'm being remembered like that,
Yeah.
and even though I'm still extremely young into my life and career and everything, yeah, there's no doubt about it. But okay, I'm about to get deep.
Let's do
Okay,
it. That's what we're here for.
you have the Kanye Wests, you
Mm-hmm.
have these huge icon, you have the John Lennons, you have these
Monsters.
iconic, monstrous idols, right? That have made ginormous impacts. Okay, and I'm gonna get deep for a second.
Let's do it.
Okay, but there's a lot and a lot of terrible personal shit that John Lennon, Kanye West, all these Kurt Cobain, like huge artists that have probably done as human beings, whether it's not being a supportive husband
Mm.
or dude, Steve Jobs. We would not be where we are technology wise, digital age without Steve Jobs.
Facts.
But like this man totally like disregarded his fucking daughter most of his life,
Yeah.
right? So, but we don't talk about that, right? We talk about the great things that people have done on this earth, and like, look, I get it, man. I'm fucking extremely grateful for Elon Musk with Teslas and the
Yeah.
future and everything like that. But that man is a fucking filthy billionaire, man. And billionaires are fucking terrifying because they could like help this world in a lot of ways. And look, I'm not trying to get all political. I'm just saying. So to be completely honest, how I would like to be remembered, man, like my wife and I we've already been planning on having children
Let's
already. Despite
go.
how young
Daddy
we are.
illusion.
It's like, what I mean? Yeah, dude. And so I want to be remembered as someone that was, successful and really good at their career, but also took the exact amount of time and efforts and pride into their personal home life that people just disregard sometimes, man. I want to be a better dad than I am a better musician,
Mm.
And so people don't talk about that often. And I think that's really, and look, dude, I am the farthest thing from perfect, man. Like I'm probably my biggest hypocrite. I'm a huge hypocrite. We're all hypocrites in some ways, but I know I sound confident talking like this and I'm saying this to everyone, but I have my struggles and demons every single day that I have to battle.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people like my wife or people around me, they have to deal with me like that. And people like you or this chat or my social media, they don't got to see that part of me, So that's why I always give my most respect to my wife because she has to deal with all the bullshit
Yeah.
that
She
comes
deals
with.
with the person behind Lusion, not Lusion
Yeah,
himself.
she deals with Donovan, not
Yeah.
Lusion.
There we go.
You know what I'm
That's what I
saying?
was.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, that's how I would like to be fucking remembered, man.
Yeah.
Someone that took just as much pride and love and care into their personal life as they did their career.
I
Because
love it,
that,
man. That's an
yeah,
amazing answer. Obviously, no right or wrong answer, but I love that answer. Shout
yeah,
out to you.
man.
I wish you could hear my sound effects, but I would give you
Ah, shit.
give you a bunch of applause.
Yeah,
But we'll get
absolutely.
into a few chat questions. I know you got to go in a few minutes, but no prob says, what's something you always want to talk about in music but never get asked, like a favorite plugin, technique, feeling, album, moment, etc.
You know what? You said plugin, so I'm actually gonna probably give you the complete opposite answer of what most people would think I do. But 9 times out of 10, I'm not really using plugins. Like
Ooh,
most producers are all about, yo, man, I got 200 plugins and blah blah blah. And
yeah,
respect. People can call me lazy. People could call me like, that I'm not taking much time or efforts into it, whatever. Because trust me, I am aware that plugins are undoubtedly just fucking huge tools.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
They're just tools though.
Yes, yes. And technically, I'm trying to chop down a tree with my bare hands when people are using advanced fucking chainsaws and axes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about it. Fucking A, dude. Ableton users is like that's a huge one, right? I'm still on fucking machine, right? People could say I'm just being lazy. I could sound like I'm just trying to justify myself right now. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think it's dope where imagine what it would be like if we were all trying to make songs without plugins and all you have is instruments at the end of the day.
Mm.
That's all you had fucking back in the day, man. Just a fucking imagine just having like some Rhodes, some drums, a fucking bass, and you know what I'm saying? Like what can you make out of that? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so I kind of take a lot of pride in like the raw materials, I guess, you know. So that's something I feel like not a lot of musicians or producers talk about. It's all about, yo, man,
What's the new
I gotta,
plugin?
yeah, I gotta put you on this new drip plugin. And no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just kidding. No, shout Kyle, I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? So it's all about, you know, I don't know. I take a lot of pride in like I love that's why Circles by Mac Miller is one of my favorite albums where of course they probably use a fuck ton of plugins and VSTs and instruments and stuff, but when you really listen to it, it's very raw and broken down. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell like they just wanted to focus on like a few main instruments and his vocals, and they just made that. And I take a lot of pride in that. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Dope. I love that answer. CMJ asks, at what point do you think a producer should think about getting a manager?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man. Because when I was first approached by my manager, I already had the comfort that a lot of my peers like that were really successful had the same manager, and that's kind of how I was introduced to him because you know 2 or 3 really good friends of mine that were killing it, they were all managed by him. So I go, okay, like if they trust him and they're killing it, you
Yeah.
know, I have a good feeling, right? So when I first was introduced to him, most people have this stigma that as soon as you get a manager, you're going to get a fucking record deal or you're going to get like all these placements and
Right.
this and that and blah, blah, blah. And you got to look on the other flip of the coin too, where the manager has to trust you as an artist to be like, okay, do I dedicate my time and money and efforts into this artist? You know, so for a good like 5 months, I barely even spoke to my manager
Mm.
because you know, he was trying to warm up to me and vice versa. And I even almost dropped him at first because I just didn't think he was really doing anything. When in reality, he was kind of like, well, what are you like? Show me something that I can work on or whatever, you know? Um, so, you know, to anyone thinking they need a manager because they think their life will change, it's actually the opposite. Your life needs to change in order for you to get a manager kind of thing. So, as long as you know, everything kind of falls in place and you feel good about it,
So would you
you
say
know,
you'd have to wait for like you would prefer if a manager approached you other than like versus the other way around where you're like seeking out management?
that's a tough one, man, because there's a lot of horrible fucking people out there, man,
Yeah.
and even A-list celebrities, man. The Rihannas and the Taylor Swifts. I think Rihanna like have had just you know managers taking all their money and shit, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to trust anyone out there. So to be honest, it might even sound a little more sketchier if a manager approaches you. But
Right.
like I said, I had the reassurance like hey, I could use a manager, and hey, these people that I look up to, they have the same manager. So okay, cool, whatever. So um, you know, yeah. But I mean, at the same time, dude, if you're fucking swamped and you're killing it and you're doing all these things and you fucking need a manager, yeah, you know, just tread lightly and
Yeah.
you know, just
It's hard
trust
to
your
give a
gut.
blanket answer for this one for sure.
Yeah, but you know, so that's kind of that's
Yeah.
how I feel
Okay.
about that.
Nick Levin asks, how long did it take for you to get on top of your content? Like
Mm.
meaning like where you had a nice little system going and you were confident in what you were putting out and like a, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think ooh, that's a good one. Two things. I think the fear of falling off or the fear of failing will like kind of like light a fire in your butt to really be like consistent with something or to figure out like what you want to do. Like, you know, again, when everything started for me with TikTok, it was like, oh shit, I'm on this train right now and I do not want to fucking fall off it. So I'm just gonna fucking just go for it. And so at that time, my routine was like I can post like 2 videos every single day, and
Wow.
you know
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
lands, cool, keep fucking going. And then you know once I noticed numbers were going down, I was like, okay, I need to switch up my content or whatever. And so that's when I got this camera, and I figured out it's all trial and error. But then, you know, these new videos of mine on TikTok that you can see, they give me this self-confidence where it's like, okay, even if this video doesn't do that great, I still can look at this video and be like, this video looks great, and I feel good about it. So just that alone keeps me in that rhythm of me being on top of my content and being like, okay, you know, cool. But at the same time, you got to be aware of it, and people aren't reacting to it, or people are commenting negative stuff about it. Yeah. Sometimes you kind of have to listen to that. You know, it's not always like, don't listen to the haters. Sometimes you kind of do. So that way, you know, to not do it.
They can help you switch it up. And
they really can, you know, like, I know H3, like they constantly say they don't really read comments, and which is good for their mental health. But at the same time, when people say that, I'm like, well, what if you're doing something not that great and you actually do it?
I honestly think, I don't think Ethan does. I don't think the people at the top do, but I do think that they have somebody sometimes reading comments like for feedback, you know?
Fuck, you're right. You're right. He does have a big team. They probably all look at the comments.
I think they all do, except Ethan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, true. But I remember like Eldre posted on his community channel of like, yo, man, what do you guys think I should do? Should I, you know, post videos here, just remixes? And he got a great community feedback, and, you know, sometimes you need that, you know, so.
For sure. Second Nature asks, does using a sample give you a feeling of imposter syndrome, or like, damn, this is good, but I didn't add much to the sample? I totally feel this one.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If I fucking make a beat without samples, that'll really make me feel like a monster, dude. I'll fucking make something with some lame ass chords that I transposed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm doing this for a living. I'm considered a music, you know? So again, I can talk freely about this, because if I don't, then I'm going to be an even bigger imposter in front, and make it sound like I'm this crazy musician. Like, look, man, I got fucking, you know, it just fell in my lap. And dude, again, man, I was sampling records and making boom bap beats, man. That's where I came from. But in order to fucking make this opportunity count, I kind of have to roll with it and figure it out, man. And so I didn't think I was going to be making pop records. I'm making pop records now, man. I'm making, I have 2 unreleased pop punk records. I've never played a guitar in my life, yet here it is, some guitar and some bass and Travis Barker drums in this song, and I got people screaming over it, and we're like, cool, we have this song. So, you know, when you really start putting the pieces together, you know, it's like, look, man, however you got to A to B, you know, it doesn't really fucking matter, as long as you did it in a way where, you know, you have the confidence where you can keep it afloat and keep it going, you know, all cool. So to be honest, man, no, man, samples actually give me more of a confidence. Of course, there's some days where you just feel gross and you just put 2 samples together and you're like, this isn't even me.
Yeah.
You know, like that can fuck with me a little bit. But at the end of the day, it just depends. Like if I take a sample and take a drum loop and add very little shit to it, but I know that's going to be used maybe for like a commercial, then it feels good, because it's like, then, you know, cool, you know, it's used for that. Or artists need a lot of room to rap or sing over.
Right.
So even if you just have 3 elements and three layers, sometimes that's all you need. So, so yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, man. The way I like to look at it is export your beat, play it, and close your laptop, and don't look at what's going on. Don't look at the DAW. Don't look at the effect chain. Look at none of that and listen to it. What do you think? Do you think it sounds good? If so, who cares?
Wow, it's so weird you say that. Last night, for the first time ever, I was like, you know what? I have all these beats. Like when my team hits me and goes, hey, like, what have you been working on or whatever? I fucking forget, because they're all just sitting in my DAW. And so literally last night I spent an hour and I exported every single beat, whether it's a fucking 4-bar loop, if it's a 5-second bounce, it doesn't matter. Now I exported all those and I put it in a folder on my desktop. So now I can literally just skip through them and just hear them and be like, oh, let me go back to that.
Right.
So that's a great, yes.
Yeah. Export your shit and don't look at the DAW, because that'll mess with you.
That's so fuck. Yeah. Now, wow. Yeah. I'm so glad I did that last night. Hell yeah. Oh, and here's a reminder to you, me, and everyone listening, back up your shit, dude. Put everything fucking hard today. This is your sign to go do that.
Yeah. And you know what sucks is that most people will hear that and they still won't do it. But what it's going to take for them to actually do it is to lose a lot of things.
Yeah, and you can speak about that shit.
Dude, I know what that's like. And trust me, that's the worst lesson you ever want to learn.
Did you ever get that question mark on a MacBook? Did you ever get that, or no? You got some other shit.
I got some other shit. I'm sure I've seen question marks, slashes, at symbols. Like I've seen it all, bro.
Well, there was one time, dude, when I was doing Illmind's 30 day a beat a day challenge or whatever. Pause. And I was on day 28 and my laptop fucking basically broke. And I remember like, and it was a question mark flashing.
Oh my God, it's the worst, dude.
And that's when I was making like $200 a month. And so I could not, it was a big problem.
Yeah. Alex, I see Alex's question. I'm not sure if you want to scroll through. I'm not going to ask you that for the sake of because you live with your wife. And I just want to be respectful. I'm trying to keep it PG here. So, Alex, I'm going to have to maybe we can ask him that if he comes on the Family Art podcast. We'll ask him that question.
Wait, I'm so curious. Wait, hold on.
It's all good. We could get back to it. Let's get to Jay's question. He says, what are some of your favorite pieces of jewelry?
My fake Vivienne Westwood chain.
Nice. I don't even know what that is, dude, but shout out to that.
Jay will know. And it's funny because like it's so funny, man, because I literally have like 3 designer pieces just to have. Like my wife got me like a Gucci belt for Christmas, and I love Stone Island, and even though it's literally just a plain sweater with like a fucking cool patch on the side, and it's like really dumb, but I normally don't try to get persuaded with the whole like designer shit because like I physically just don't understand like paying so much. I mean, it's cool to like splurge on yourself every once in a while or whatever, you know, like there's these like fucking Prada shoes that I've been wanting for a while, but it's like, who fucking cares, dude? It's really fucking stupid and ridiculous. That's my opinion, dude. I respect people that really
That's
fucking
just where
care
you're at. Who knows? 6 months from now, you might be like LLusion all the way.
Yeah, right. I know, right? I mean, I respect people that take a lot of pride in designer and fashion and really respect like the material of clothes. Like, and so shout out to Jay because I know he does.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys could nerd out about that all day.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I were to spend money on something, I would actually probably get like a real Vivienne Westwood chain because those things are really cool. But I just have a fake one right now because I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, Jay says it's not stupid. I see with the Prada monoliths, whatever that is. Sounds like Chinese to me.
Oh, and but yeah, so not a huge jewelry guy, but I do love just wearing rings all the time that are like $30-$40. But yeah.
It's also nice if you got to punch somebody in the face, like it'll add some it'll decrease their HP by a significant amount.
This wedding ring, bro, it's got some weight to it, bro. All right, so it's about to
be careful. Don't fuck with LLusion.
Yeah, literally.
We'll just get a few more in because I gotta pee and I know you gotta go. So Kalima says, in an artist session, do you cater to their music taste or do you give them what you're best at, or both?
I'm just gonna go easy and say both, but because I'm so early in my career and I'm not a Pharrell, I'm not a I'm not a Metro Boomin, I'm not a I'm so very early and I'm treading lightly where people for the most part, they're coming towards me as in like, oh, I'm gonna go work with LLusion because he's cool and everything. But I do still think a majority of why they're working with me is because of what I've created, not because of how my music sounds sonically. So for the most part, I am catering towards them. But at the same time, it goes back to the whole Red Robin commercial thing. It's like I'm catering because I have the tools, I have the energy, I have the mindset for it, and I'm down to do that. But I mean, like, dude, like right now I have a whole Dropbox folder of sessions I have. Like, dude, I made my first reggaeton record with a fucking Spanish singer. I'm like, this is dope. I have pop records that are super bubblegum commercial fucking pop that you would hear in Claire's, but it doesn't matter because I'm like, cool, I'm making this is great that it feels good to make this and be a part of it. I had this session with Nothing Nowhere, who is relatively a pop punk singer. And so we made a pop punk record, I didn't put him on a lo-fi beat, so people relatively aren't coming towards me for lo-fi stuff. But I do, if I feel comfortable with the artist, I do give them the option. I go, hey, like, look, man, you're blowing up right now. You have this song in this style that's going crazy. We can make more in this similar route so that way it complements you well. Or you could just trust me and we can do whatever. And they're like, cool, let's do that. So it really just depends. You really got to feel it out for it, man.
It's a vibe thing again.
It's a vibe thing. But if you're getting some bad vibes, you go the safe route, man, and just fucking
safe route's always there.
yeah, dude, kind of just like appeal to them. I suggest for people to watch Kenny Beats The Cave, man. Like, even though people love Kenny and they know he makes dope beats, he kind of caters towards them all
Right.
the time.
He
You
has
know,
a
he's
lot of
like,
shit on deck to like go different
yeah,
directions.
exactly. Like he'll go, all right, what are you feeling today, or
Hmm.
whatever, and they're gonna, and you know, they'll give him something super just, oh, give me something cute, you know,
Yeah.
like Doja was on
And he's
there, but
ready.
he's ready. He knows to cater towards that. So it's fucking scary, but but if you do it right and it's a good outcome, it's the best feeling ever for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last question from the homie DCS Lefty. He says the label gives you a blank check to make an album with any artist. Who do you choose?
Doja, Kali Uchis, uh, I don't know how she's charging, but she's in high demand. So Pink Panthers right
Mm.
now. Let's see. Man, I'm thinking low, man. I'm thinking so, or I was about to start saying some like other people. Oliver Tree.
Mm.
Let me get a couple more in there real
Yeah,
quick.
let's manifest right now. This might be,
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, who knows? We might make this a micro
Fucking
piece of content, put it on TikTok, and then they're like, yo, I
right.
like Lusion.
Fucking Joey, badass.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, those are some good ones. Like, man, let me say one out of pocket real quick. Maybe like a fuck,
Yeah.
like fucking no holds barred. Like, here, whatever you fucking want. Let me think of something dope. Like someone that I could just like really fuck up. Damn. Like, I'm not trying to be basic and just think of like hip hop related. Like even like in like a pop world or something. Shit, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, you gave, so Caliuchis, I think you can make some super dope shit with Caliuchis. I mean, Jay also said that, but I think you would make something really cool with Caliuchis or Doja Cat. Either of those two,
Yeah.
you with a female vocalist is, I feel like that's the duo right there.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, fuck, dude. Blank check, fucking Billie Eilish too, man. Oh my god, I truly feel like if we were on similar like paths, which is like light years away, but I'm just saying if it was in that same range or whatever, and
Mhm.
she was like, yeah, cool, like let's do something, I would have confidence like we'd make some dope shit for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
So
honestly, with the people that are in your or that are on the roster of Republic Records, I feel like saying these artists, like, it's not too far off from like what you could work with, who you could work with.
I mean, you trust me, bro. Another reality strike for people listening that think like once you're signed to this label, you're
You have
literally
access.
the same team with them.
Yeah.
You don't have access.
Yeah.
If you have the budget,
Yeah.
yes, you have a better chance of doing it because you're on the same team, but they're still going to charge you a fuck ton.
Right.
So
Money, yeah, money talks though.
I mean, dude, like I've worked with artists that I say this respectfully, that maybe are asking for a higher price than they are worth.
Mm.
I say that respectfully because that's just reality of things. So if people like that are charging that much, I can only imagine something like
Somebody who's really like worth that times 10.
Yeah, exactly, man. So there it is, man.
Yeah, man. Well, shit, I appreciate you taking the time for this. Yeah, man, I think this is dope. I'd love to do this, catch up with you every 6 months or something, every year, once a year, kind of see where you're at with everything.
I would do this every month if you made if it didn't get like a stagnant conversation. Dude, I'll fucking convince your chat right now. If Jay's still in here, I convince him like, dude, please, man, it would mean so much for me to be on the Family Mart pod.
Yeah, we got to do it, man.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Me and Jay have already talked about that. We definitely got to get you on. Yeah, we appreciate you, Lusion. Have fun with your session later. It's dope to see all of the success that you've attained in just a short amount of time. It's crazy. Like 3 years, bro, that's nothing. But to see how much you've done in 3 years.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, bro. I respect the hell out of you, man. Like, we go fucking way back, man, and I still look at you the exact same way, bro. So
thank you,
I appreciate you a lot, man. Thank you. It's always a pleasure talking with you, brother.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon. Peace.
Peace and love, y'all. Thank you, chat.
Peace. And that was the interview. Hope you guys enjoyed. I plan to do more of these interview style videos in the future, so let me know what your thoughts are on that. Let me know what your favorite part of this video was in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.